Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the DJ Roscoe Sports Show coming live. We're in the hotel room here in Baltimore, Maryland, because we are going to Big Ben's last regular season game of his illustrious career with the Steelers, possibly of his whole career, unless they make the playoffs. Sneak in the playoffs, they need to beat the Baltimore Ravens, and they need some help. They need to have the stinky Jacksonville Jaguars. My buddy Dan Torres that's going to be at the game. Trevor Lawrence and company. They finally got that horrible Urban Meyer out of there as head coach. Need to pull off an upset and beat the Indianapolis Colts, who we've seen on Hard Knocks in season every Wednesday night, 10 o'clock on HBO. Need to pull off a miracle. Need the Colts to lose the Jaguars in Jacksonville, which the Jaguars have beaten them 5 straight times when they play at home in Jacksonville, but still going to be a miracle, very tall order. And the Steelers need to beat the Ravens, but no Lamar Jackson on Sunday. So they're going with their back, who's doing okay, but the Ravens have lost a lot of heartbreakers, a lot of close games this year, and we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed. We actually are staying at a Hyatt hotel in Baltimore, Maryland, and we found out it's supposedly the Baltimore Ravens team hotel. So, hey, who knows? I was joking with Abby, my beautiful wife, that hey, maybe they'll get locked in the elevator. Who knows? Maybe they can't get to the game on time. Maybe Ben gets a win by forfeit. Who knows? And we got confirmation on this, I think. We saw Rob Ryan with his glorious locks of like Hanson, old man, white hair. Kind of looks like an old man Jesus. Long hair, big belly. Former defensive coordinator, I think, of the Cowboys and the New Orleans Saints. Was with the Buffalo Bills coach staff when his big brother, I think it's his big brother, Rex Ryan, was the Buffalo Bills head coach, which was my JTS Stinky Jets head coach. Rex Ryan was the Baltimore Ravens defensive coordinator, I think, when they won the 2000 Super Bowl. So that's a lot of history there. And we saw Rob Ryan with his glorious long white hair at the team hotel, and there's a lot of purple, and it's all decked out. Baltimore Ravens' last home game of the season, and unless they win against the Steelers and get lots and lots of help, Steelers only need the Colts to lose the Jaguars. The Ravens need everyone to lose and to sneak in. So it's probably going to be the first time in 4 years not going to the playoffs. After starting off the year great, I think they were 8-3. Now they've lost 5 in a row, 8-8. A lot of injuries, but losing Lamar Jackson, losing a lot of close games. John Harbaugh has taken a lot of gutsy, maybe needs to examine, calls where instead of going for the easy extra point with his amazing kicker, Justin Tucker, who set the 66-yard field goal record for longest field goal in a game against the Detroit Lions this year, he decided to go for two-point conversion for the win against the Steelers in Pittsburgh on the year. That failed. He tried against the Packers. That failed. So they've lost a lot of heartbreaking games by very few points. And losing Lamar Jackson, they're not the same team without him. So this year is, started off great, and it looks like it's going to be a disappointing year, but they're pumped here in Baltimore. We've seen a few fellow Steeler fans, and we're saying, go Steelers, but we're doing on the down low as we try to take over their stadium, M&T Bank Stadium, next to Camden Yards, where the Baltimore Orioles play. And we plan to wear our Steelers gear, my beautiful wife and I, Abby and I. We love our Steelers. We might get beat up at the game. Hopefully we won't. If we do, you've seen on video that we're going to the game, and you will come to protect us. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But we do have little kids that we want to come back to. So Steelers, Ravens, 1 o'clock, CBS. Big Ben's last regular season game. Good chances his last game of his career. After he finished it off in grand style, his final game at home in Pittsburgh at the Catcher-Ball Heinz Field on Monday Night Football. They got it done against the Cleveland Browns. Baker Mayfield also struggled, which helped as well. And he got to take one final knee, took a knee, was tearing up. We all got emotional, my wife and I I think all the Steelers fans got emotional after 18 great years. Some ups and downs, but overall, I know, people are like, oh, he's not Tom Brady. Brady's played longer, stayed in better shape maybe, but still, Roethlisberger, despite all the injuries, has played most of the games, missed a few games here and there, besides 2019, 2 years ago, when he had to get the elbow surgery, like the Tommy John surgery. Put up great numbers, basically top 5, top 10 in career touchdown passes and in wins and passing yards. I think 5th all time passing Philip Rivers. Won 2 Super Bowls, made it to a 3rd Super Bowl. Would have been great to win another one, but he's been great. Never had a losing season in his 18-year career, and then the last 15, so majority of the time, after the first 3 years with Bill Carroll, winning 1 Super Bowl with him, the last 15 years under Mike Tomlin, he's never had a losing season. So they've been hand-to-hand, Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame quarterback, and he will be greatly missed. So he was tearing up. They brought his three beautiful kids out, his wife, and they all gave him a big bear hug, and he was crying his eyes out. And I think there wasn't a dry eye in the house. No one wanted to leave. He took a victory lap, was giving high fives, slap hands, all the Steeler fans out there. He sat on the bench last year where him and Pouncey, his center who retired after that game, were tearing up, and they were trying to console each other after they lost to the Cleveland Browns in that first round of the playoffs. Well, they got a little bit of revenge. It's not a playoff game, but they were able to beat the Browns Monday Night Football in prime time, and they got it done. Steelers got it done. Hopefully they get it done here in Baltimore tomorrow, 1 o'clock. It's supposed to be rainy, warm for this time of year in January, about 45, 46 degrees. But it might be cold and wet, so hopefully we'll get through it and we'll enjoy it and cheer on Big Ben one final time. And then, for God's sakes, please don't let Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins be your starting quarterback next year. Whether you draft Kenny Pickett, the local Pittsburgh kid who had a great year at University of Pittsburgh, we're still frustrated in playing the bowl game, but a lot of star players aren't doing that. Or somehow get Aaron Rodgers here, Russell Wilson, and Derek Carr. I know everyone's in Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers are kind of flirting with each other, and he's had a great situation in Green Bay, but we saw the rocky offseason. Bring someone in there or draft the top quarterback. Maybe if you can get the local Pittsburgh kid, it's even better. You got James Conner, who was a local Pittsburgh kid, now he's doing great with the Arizona Cardinals. It'd be great to get him. I think they would all root behind the local Pitt kid. Please don't let Mason Rudolph be. I don't think the Steelers' next quarterback to replace the great Ben Roethlisberger is on the roster, so hopefully they'll get that done. But we have the Week 18 NFL schedule, the season finale of the regular season before we go to the playoffs. And of course, one extra game this year, one extra week. Everyone's playing 17 games, 18 weeks. It's been a long, great season. Of course, Saturday, they start with some Saturday games on ESPN and ABC exclusively. The earlier game at 4:30, it was the Kansas City Chiefs on the road against the Denver Broncos. I picked the Chiefs to win this game. They got it done. It was close. The Chiefs now, I think, have won, 13, 14 times in a row against the Broncos. They're really destroying their AFC West rival, divisional opponent. It was close for a while. It was hairy. Tyreek Hill got injured in warm-ups, barely played, didn't really get any catches. But Pat Mahomes then got it done. That dynamic offense of Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce and company get it done. Hopefully Tyreek Hill can get healthy for the playoffs. They win 20-24, but they finished the year 12-5. They lost a heartbreaker to the Cincinnati Bengals last week, 34-31. Bengals clinched their division title first time since 2015 in 6 seasons. But now the Chiefs need a miracle. These Texans who pulled off the upset earlier against the Tennessee Titans, now they've activated Derrick Henry and they've been able to stay the number 1 seed and have a great year, even with Derrick Henry being out since Halloween for the last 2 months. They get their superstar, all-powerful running back for the playoff drive. And if they could just beat the stinky Houston Texans this year, which I know the Texans beat in the first matchup, but the Titans are expected to win, then they will get the number 1 seed. And Chiefs took care of business, but because they lost the heartbreaker to the Bengals, and they started off the year struggling at 3-4, won 8 in a row, but lose that tough one to the Bengals. They finished 12-5. They need a miracle. They need the Texans to beat the Titans. It's not the top 2 seeds who get in the conference who get the first round bye. Hopefully, the advance throughout the playoffs. If the Titans win, they get the first round bye. The only first round bye, and the Chiefs have to play in wild card weekend after a great season. It could be up in smoke just like that. So they have to pray, hope the Titans lose to the Texans. If not, they're playing on wild card weekend, and it should be interesting. And they lose out on that first round bye. So we're gonna see how that goes down. But the Chiefs win 20-24, so they keep their hopes for at least a little while longer to see what happens with the Titans and Texans tomorrow. So Chiefs win 28-24, and then the other game playing right now, the Eagles, who clinched the playoff spot last week, Eagles, Eagles. 49ers and Packers won. That helped the Eagles out. They clinched a playoff spot, which is a good thing because some of their players were out. They were going to rest them anyway. They clinched a playoff spot. Some of them were on the COVID list with all the craziness with the Omicron variant running rampant. Right now in the third quarter, they're down by 10 points, 30-20 to Dallas Cowboys, who are also resting some of their players. But a fun, exciting game. They're letting Gardner Minshew, everyone thinks of him as Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite, throwing that ball over the mountains with a 70s porn stash. He's very excited. He's getting to play because they're resting their star, young correct Jalen Hurts, playing pretty well. Game was back and forth and tied. They had leads, but right now they're down by 10 points late in the third quarter, so it looks like the Cowboys are going to win that one. Finish here 12-5. Eagles finish 9-8, but still make the playoffs. And hey, we'll see who they play next week in the playoffs. But either way, it's a successful season getting to play in the playoffs when everyone kind of thought that the Eagles with the first-year head coach, Nick Sirianni, and first full-year quarterback with Jalen Hurts, when he could run and throw the ball, dynamic top rushing offense for the Eagles. I don't think anyone expected them to be a playoff team. Giving up on Carson Wentz, having a good year with the Colts, and they get a first-round pick because Carson Wentz was healthy enough to play in at least 75% of the snaps for the Colts this year. So either way, it's a win-win. They're going to get a first-round pick for trading Carson Wentz. Jalen Hurts possibly is their quarterback of the future. He had a great year this year, great rushing attack, great first year for their head coach Nick Sirianni, and they're in the playoffs. So playoffs, Eagles look like they lose to the Cowboys tonight in their final home game of the season because they're going to be on the road in the playoffs in City of Brotherly Love in Philly tonight, losing to the Cowboys. But we'll see what happens down the stretch. But that'll be interesting. But either way, the Cowboys and Eagles both going to the playoffs. Cowboys win the division title. Eagles going to the playoffs as a wild card team. Now tomorrow for January 9th, for 1 o'clock games, we have 7 of the 1 o'clock games because 2 of them were played on Saturday. We have Green Bay Packers division title, clinched the top seed in the NFC NFC playoffs, and they'll get the one first round bye. Home field advantage going through Lambeau Field for a second year in a row, but they fell short last year with Tom Brady and the Buccaneers going into the frigid cold Lambeau Field. Matt LaFleur, 3 great years as the head coach of the Packers. A lot of success, of course, due to the great Aaron Rodgers. Love him, hate him with the COVID toe and him annoying people. Still a great player. Probably win the MVP again this season. You know, him or Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, the ageless wonder, was 44, going to be 45. Going to play until he's a million years old, keep winning, and maybe Brady might be the best chance to knock off Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, Lambeau Field with the Packers. Renee, you're going to be excited because they have a great chance, whether it's the last ride, last dance with Devontae Adams, the great receiver, and Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers is truly unhappy and wants to leave, and Devontae Adams is a free agent, if they can keep him, Green Bay could be successful for a few years to come, even with Aaron Rodgers getting older, but playing at a high level. But if he leaves to go to the Steelers or to another marquee team, it might be lights out for the Packers. So for a while now. So we're very lucky to have Brett Favre and then Aaron Rodgers. Don't take it for granted. You've only won the 2 Super Bowls with those 2 great Hall of Fame generational quarterbacks. Hopefully they could try to get it done this year and win it. Packers, road to the playoffs, and you're going to go through them. Packers at the Detroit Lions, 1 o'clock on Fox. They're supposed to play their starters at least for a little bit so they can stay sharp because they're going to have a first-round bye and they don't want to have them too many days of rest. I think the Lions will play them tough in Detroit. They've been playing better of late. And then the season when it looked like they were going to go winless, be the first 0-17 team, and they had the tie against the Steelers when Mason Rudolph had to play for Ben with COVID. But I think the Packers win this division rivalry game, beat the Detroit Lions. I'll go with, even if they rest their starters after a while, I'll go 27-17. Packers win by 10 over the Lions. 1 o'clock on Fox. 1 o'clock on CBS, the big game. Scoreboard watching when we're in Baltimore for tomorrow's Steeler game. Colts at the Jaguars in Jacksonville. I'm going to be rooting like heck, crossing my fingers that the Jaguars get it done. Thrilled they played Urban Meyer, that disaster at head coach. Trevor Lawrence has had some ups and downs, put up some good years, good numbers, thrown for a lot of yards, but of course the team's a mess. I still, in the end, I'm going to root for like heck for the Jaguars. I still have to pick the Colts. I think the Colts win. They get the automatic spot in the playoffs. I've been seeing their progress with the Hard Knocks show on HBO every Wednesday at 10 o'clock. Jonathan Taylor, MVP caliber season, great year in running back. Carson Wentz playing great under his former offensive coordinator, head coach Frank Reich with the Colts. Offense, defense, a lot of ball hawks on defense, getting a lot of turnovers. Too much firepower for the Colts. Horrible Jaguars team. The Jaguars maybe keep it close for a while, as long as the jitters don't get to the Colts and they don't beat themselves. As much as I'd like to see the Jaguars win so the Steelers can slip into the playoffs, sneak into the playoffs, as like a thief of the night, I think the Colts beat the Jaguars. I think they'll win in dominant fashion. I think I'm going to go with 33-10. They win by 23 points, crush the Jaguars, clinch a playoff spot for next week. That's 1 o'clock on CBS. Washington at the New York Football Giants, 1 o'clock on Fox. Giants playing like terrible garbage, playing terrible. Daniel Jones has been shut down. Joe Judge, the head coach, has been awful. Saquon Barkley's been mediocre this year, and they finally had a pretty good game against the Bears, but got crushed last week against the Bears, but at least he had a solid rushing game. They might still hold on to Daniel Jones and Joe Judge as a head coach and quarterback, so they don't have so much turnover. As much as you criticize it, you long for the days of Tom Coughlin and Odell Beckham Jr. and Eli Manning and all the winning, and the defense with Michael Strahan and Justin Tuck and all those great guys. And now they're terrible. Fan appreciation day, last day at home at the MetLife Stadium at the Giants Stadium, but in the end, both teams stink. But Washington, Taylor Heineke plays pretty well, gets the ball moving, almost found a way to upset the Eagles last week. They have a solid defense. They play hard for their head coach, Ron Rivera, who just had a nice birthday the other day. I'm going Washington football team over the New York Giants, who are hopeless. They have some top draft picks. They maybe need to draft the next quarterback future because Daniel Jones is not it. Joe Judge is not it at coaching the quarterback. But they're going to maybe continue to make that mistake just because they don't want to look like they continue to make mistakes. They might have to fire Dave Gettleman, their GM, who's been awful. I'm going to go with Washington crushing the Giants. Even in divisional rivalry game, the Giants will get embarrassed. I'll go with 20 to 6. They win by 2 touchdowns over the hapless Giants to end the 2021 NFL campaign to kick off 2022 in disastrous fashion for the Giants. And then 1 o'clock on Fox, the Bears at the Minnesota Vikings. Matt Nagy, the head coach of the Bears, he's going to be out after this game. The GM might be out after this game. Whether they start their young rookie quarterback Justin Fields, who's been up and down this year, Andy Dalton, with the glorious redhead ginger hair, Nick Foles, the former Super Bowl MVP with the Eagles. They've had a lot of ups and downs. The offense just not enough out there. Defense just mediocre this year. Once was one of their staples, but the offense needs to progress. Coach, GM need to probably go. Mariners playing the rival NFC North, the Vikings, who've had a disappointing year, losing a lot of close games, blowing games, failing to make the playoffs with Kirk Cousins at quarterback and Dalvin Cook and all that offensive firepower. It's not enough, so we'll see if Mike Zimmerman, the Vikings head coach, will be on the hot seat. Vikings at home, though, I think beat the Bears. I'll go with 30-17. They win by 13 over the Bears to finish on a positive note to end their 2021 campaign. That's 1 o'clock on Fox. 1 o'clock on CBS. Big game to decide who gets the top seed and home field advantage and the one first round bye in the AFC. Now there's not the top 2 seeds that make it. Tennessee Titans at the Houston Texans on CBS. In the end, I couldn't believe the Texans beat them the first time around. Just like I couldn't believe the Jets beat the Titans the first time around when they had Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's back. They're ready to go. Ryan Tannehill and company, Mike Vrabel, solid defense. The offense found a way to win games even without Derrick Henry. They get him back, power running for the playoffs. The end is in sight to capture this top seed, first round bye, and the Chiefs have to play in wild card week, and the Titans get an easier route to the Super Bowl. I'm going to go with the Titans to win bigly, as the former president would say, and crushing the Houston Texans, getting revenge against their AFC South opponent rival. I'll go with the Titans over the Texans. I'm going to go with 33 to 13. They win by 20, crush the Texans, and the Chiefs have to play wild card weekend. Sorry. But the Chiefs still have a great chance to make a run in the playoffs. We'll see what happens, especially if Tyreek Hill can come back healthy after today. 1 o'clock CBS. My wife's Steelers. We're at the game at the Baltimore Ravens, M&T Bank Stadium. The Ravens have a chance this game. The Ravens back with Warriors have been playing pretty well, Huntley. Solid defense. They have Mark Andrews, solid tight end. Solid rushing attack even with all the injuries. But in the end, I'm going to go with the Steelers winning Big Ben's last regular season game, probably the last game of his career. They get it done. Wrap up his great 18-year career. Finished 9-7-1. Unfortunately, finished just short of the playoffs because I think the Colts crushed the Jaguars. I think the Steelers win it ugly. Close to the game, sweep the Ravens this season. I'm going to go with 23-20 on a last-second Chris Boswell field goal to beat the Ravens and keep the playoff hopes alive for just a few more moments longer. Steelers over the Ravens, 23-20, 1 o'clock on CBS. And finally, for the early 1 o'clock games to close them out, 1 o'clock on Fox. It's going to be a lot of backups. Don't even know if Baker Mayfield's going to play in this game. He's been injured throughout. And who knows if they'll bring him back next year. And Kevin Stefanski, there's a lot of rumors they're not going to roll him and Baker Mayfield. Struggling at quarterback this year, a lot of injuries and poor play on the field. Disappointing for the Browns. Bengals, they're going to rest a lot of their starters. They clinched the division title first time in 6 years. Joe Burrow, his superstar teammate from LSU. Chase at wide receiver, probably win Rookie of the Year. Amazing season. It'll be dangerous, hard team to knock off in the playoffs. And this is not your same old Bengals team. Explosive firepower, and Joe Burrow's come out like gangbusters coming back from the torn ACL last season. His great rookie campaign, playing even better in year 2. They're going to rest a lot of players. In the end, I'm going to say, because if they were playing at full capacity, playing their players, their starters, I think the Bengals crushed the Browns. I think the Browns, they play some of their starters, they win, they have some pride, they try to get a win to wrap up a disappointing season. I'll go with the Browns over the Bengals in ugly fashion, 26-22. They win by 4 points over the Bengals, but that's because they're sitting everyone, and the Browns beat the backups and the third stringers of the Bengals. 26-22 Browns over the Bengals, 1 o'clock on Fox. The late games, let's see, there's 6 late games of the 4:25 games. Some of the games have been moved later for extra suspense for the final week of the season. 4:25, 49ers at the LA Rams in La La Land on Fox, the home of the Super Bowl. And there's rumors, if COVID continues to be bad, possibly the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, Jerry Jones Stadium, might be used as an alternate site for the Super Bowl, but hopefully it can stay in LA day before Valentine's Day, February 13th. Luckily, it's not on Valentine's Day, because there would be a lot of angry wives and girlfriends who, if they're not into football, saying, why do we have to spend Valentine's Day watching the Super Bowl? One of these days, it might fall on that, on Valentine's Day, and there's going to be some key decisions to be made if you want to not sleep on the couch and be in the doghouse. But it's being played on February 13th this year, day before Valentine's Day, in La La Land, in LA. The 49ers, if they win, they're in the playoffs. If they lose, and the New Orleans Saints, they find a way to win against the Atlanta Falcons, then the Saints are in the playoffs. It should be interesting to see what happens. In the end, 49ers at the LA Rams, I think the LA Rams are going to win this game. I think it's going to be a hard-fought, tough game. Jimmy Garoppolo looks like he might come back and play with a sore thumb, even though he might be done. Trey Lance might be starting next year, and maybe the Steelers or another big team might want to take him because he's a pretty solid veteran quarterback. Even if you love to hate him, he still gets it done, wins games when he's healthy. He gets hurt a lot, but when he's healthy, is key. I'm going to go with the LA Rams. Beating the 49ers, I'm going to go with Sean McVay and company and Matthew Stafford offense. They'll get it done. They'll win 30-20, win by 10 with the 49ers. And the 49ers are going to be in peril here. They're going to be in trouble. They might still sneak in the playoffs if the Saints lose, but they're going to have trouble. They're going to lose 30-20 Rams over the 49ers. And then 4:25 on Fox. On CBS 4:25, the Carolina Panthers, Sam Darnold coming back after Cam Newton struggled, and Sam Darnold struggled after starting off 3-0 and had a lot of injuries. Fell short last week, I think, to the New Orleans Saints. Panthers on CBS against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Super Bowl champion Buccaneers. All this drama, Antonio Brown basically saying, deuces, I'm out of here, taking us off his clothes at the Jets stadium last week, and it says he's injured. Says he needs ankle surgery, got cut by the Buccaneers. Took a few days to make it official, but basically said, you're not no longer a Buc and get the heck out of here. He says he was hurt. Said the Buccaneers said, we weren't told you, even if you were hurt, you were cleared to play. We said to play, you refused. You said, I'm not going in. And then Bruce Arians said, get the heck out of here. And he took it literally and walked out, took his clothes off, waved to the fans. Didn't look too injured there. And he's probably going through some serious mental issues, so you don't want to make fun of that. Hopefully gets the help he needs. We'll be interested to see if another football team will take a chance on him. I don't think they would take a chance on him for the playoffs, but we'll see. Is his career done? He's 33, going to be 34 later in the year. Great talent. Won a Super Bowl last year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when you thought it was over for him after all the crazy stuff that was off the field and rumors about very bad things. And after a great career with the Steelers, 9 years with the Steelers, has the numbers to be a Hall of Famer, won a Super Bowl, and then just falls apart and kind of self-destructive. So you hope that mentally he's okay. And then he was going on adventures with his Uber driver, picking him up from the stadium in Jersey, 9 miles away from Manhattan, going to New York City, partying, going to the Brooklyn Nets game courtside the next day with sunglasses. He's throwing Tom Brady's trainer, onto the bus. And he's trying to take everyone down. He's revealing text messages, private messages, and trying to throw them under the bus. There's other people trying to throw him under the bus. A lot of he said, she said. You hope for the best for Antonio Brown, but It's not good. He was finally reunited with Le'Veon Bell, and it felt so good for about 2 quarters. Le'Veon Bell still the Tampa Bay Buccaneers they got after Leonard Fournette got hurt, and now Antonio Brown's out. Maybe if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the Super Bowl, Le'Veon Bell will win his Super Bowl, just like the crazy the problem child Antonio Brown got last year. Maybe Le'Veon Bell, the former Steeler, gets the Super Bowl win this year with Tampa Bay. But I digress. If any team's gonna be able to weather the storm, they have, they've had injuries between Leonard Fournette and Chris Godwin at wide receiver. Antonio Brown's gone, but they had that young receiver who scored the game-winning touchdown when finally with my Jets. We're gonna knock off Brady and the Buccaneers, and he's alive. He's alive. He came back alive. Came back from 2 touchdowns in the second half. Beat my Jets 20-24 last week. And they're still in a great position, even without a first-round bye. They won the division title. They're gonna have a home playoff game, which they didn't even have last year when they went on to win the Super Bowl. Brady is almost unstoppable in the playoffs. It's gonna be a hard team to knock off in the playoffs, even when they're not at home. But Carolina Panthers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to wrap up the season. The Buccaneers are gonna get it done. They're gonna crush the Carolina Panthers, especially if they're playing all their starters. And Brady's gonna want to be extra sharp for the playoffs. I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers. They beat Carolina. I'll go with 34 to 23. They win by 11 over Carolina. Buccaneers win, and they're ready to go in the playoffs and be very dangerous to beat in the playoffs. And if they can overcome injuries and all the controversies and the craziness around them, it's Brady and the Buccaneers. You can't count them out. And check out Brady's Man in the Arena miniseries documentary on ESPN Plus. Highly recommend that as well. I love her him. You got to bet on We're Not Worthy. We're Not Worthy. Great quarterback. 4:25 on Fox. The Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson possibly his last game last week in Seattle. Had a great game. Put up 51 points. We'll see if he stays with the Seahawks or not. There's rumors that he's not getting along with the front office. We'll see. Pete Carroll, the Seahawks proud team, going to play the Arizona Cardinals last game of the season. Arizona Cardinals have activated J.J. Watt. I don't know if he'll play this game, but he'll be ready for the playoffs after missing a lot of the year with injuries. Can't stay healthy, but T.J. Watt's big brother J.J. Watt could be a heck of a force in the playoffs for Arizona, so we'll see what happens there. I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals, though, to beat the Seahawks. Russell Wilson, the Seahawks have a chance. They'll try to end the year on a positive, end of the year on a win. But in the end, I think the Cardinals, as long as they don't rest everyone, Kyler Murray and company, Cliff Kingsbury, too much offensive firepower. James Conner put up a lot of touchdowns this year. If Arizona starts some of their starters, they beat the Seahawks. They'll win this game. I'll go with, not a blowout though, but I'll go with 27-20 Arizona over the Seahawks for 4:25 on Fox. They wrap up the regular season, see what they can do in the playoffs. But I think that the Arizona Cardinals might get knocked out of the playoffs quickly, but we'll see if J.J. Watt will make a difference on defense for the playoffs. 4:25 on CBS. New England Patriots at the Miami Dolphins. It should be an interesting game here. Patriots have clinched a playoff spot, won 10 games this year with rookie quarterback Mac Jones. Bill Belichick gets it done after one bad year. Still have a chance to win the division, but if the Bills beat my stinky Jets, Bills, who split the 2 games with the Patriots this year, will win the division. Patriots will have to go on the road as a dangerous wildcard team. Either way, the Patriots are going to be a tough team in the playoffs to get done with a top-notch defense. A solid offense if Mac Jones doesn't make the crossing rookie mistakes. Bill Belichick, the greatest head coach in football history. Going to play the Miami Dolphins, who start off the year beating the Patriots by 1 point, 1-0, lost 7 in a row. First team to lose 7 in a row, then win 7 in a row. We're 8-7. Lost last week to the Titans to be eliminated from the playoffs, but have a chance to finish with a winning record. Still a nice bounce back year, but we'll miss out a lot of the season when they lost 7 in a row and got hot a little too late. But Brian Flores, the head coach of the Dolphins, former coach of the Patriots, defense coordinator of the Patriots, solid coach. Tua did a good job at quarterback this year, but who knows if they'll try to go sign Deshaun Watson. If everything legally is okay with signing him, we'll see what happens in the offseason or training for Deshaun Watson, or they'll stick with Tua. We'll see. When they finish off on a solid fashion, the Dolphins. But I think Patriots, Bill Belichick will be ready to finish the regular season on a high note to get ready for the playoffs. 1 o'clock CBS. I'll go with the Patriots knocking off the Dolphins. Close game. I'll go with 23-17 Patriots over the Dolphins. Get ready for the playoffs, and Dolphins finish the year solid fashion, but need to bounce back and be more consistent early in the year, so don't waste too much time. But Patriots, dangerous team in the playoffs. They win 23-17 over the Dolphins. 4:25, New Orleans Saints could still sneak into the playoffs, and I think they're going to sneak into the playoffs, which is crazy to think. I think the 49ers, they need to beat the Rams, they're in. They play the Rams tough, but I think the 49ers will lose. I think the Saints will win, and they somehow beat Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, both times including pitching a shutout against Brady and the Buccaneers a few weeks ago. And with all their struggles, Taysom Hill hadn't played, Trevor Siemian hadn't played, Ian Book hadn't played. After Drew Brees retired, glorious new fake hair working as a broadcaster on NBC. James Winston tearing his ACL on Halloween night when they beat Brady and the Buccaneers the first time after starting 5-2, struggling. I think Sean Payton and company and the Saints, they get it done. They beat the Atlanta Falcons 4-25 on Fox. I'll go with 27-24 and sneak to the playoffs with the 49ers loss. Saints over the Falcons, division rival, NFC South, 27-24. And in probable year, Sean Payton gets it done, 27-24 win. And check out January 28th on Netflix from the minds of Adam Sandler, Kevin James playing Sean Payton in a funny movie when there was that bounty game. He had to be banned from football for a year in the NFL, and he coached his teenage son's football team. So should be a funny one on Netflix, January 28th. The Jets, my stinky Jets, 4:25 on CBS, last of the 4 o'clock games at the Buffalo Bills, Nana Fran's Bills. I think the Bills get it done. I'd love to see my Jets pull off the upset. Almost beat the Buccaneers last week, beat the stinky Jaguars the week before. I think the Jets will play the Bills tough. I know early in the year when we went to the frigid game in Jersey, the Bill fans came out full force in New York, crushed the Jets by 4 touchdowns. I think it'll be close to that. I think the Jets are showing some signs of improvement, have lost some close games, have doubled their win total last year from 2 wins to 4 wins. Things are a little bit in the right direction. Zach Wilson, at times when he's healthy and on the playing the way he can throw the heck out of the football deep, can run the ball well, hopefully cut down on the rookie mistakes and the turnovers. Robert Saleh, the head coach, hopefully will keep getting better, bringing some more offensive talent, defense getting better, and hopefully, maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but the Jets little by little can improve. But this year, improving over last year, I think they'll play the Bills tough, but in the end, the Bills at home, Josh Allen company have another great year at quarterback. Stephon Diggs, great receiver, solid defense. They'll get it done, win. They win the division title, have a home first-round playoff game, and they get the division title over their hated rivals, the New England Patriots. So I think the Bills beat the Jets. I'll go with 27-17. They win by 10 points. Jets keep it close for a while. Bills pull away at the end. They win by 10. 27-17 over the JTS Jets. Bills win the division title and get in the playoffs on a high note, getting hot at the right time. And then finally, Sunday Night Football, 8:20 on NBC. So last Sunday Night Football game of the year. It's win or go home. And technically, they both could get in if they tied the game. They basically just take a knee on the ball and it'd be a disgrace for football. Then they both get in, but I don't see that happening. AFC West division rivals, LA Chargers, Justin Herbert, great offense. Have lost some close games this year, but heck of an offense. They lost a tough game to the Texans a couple weeks ago. Came back, won last week. LA Chargers I think last week they beat the Broncos. LA Chargers at the Vegas Raiders, who came back, won in honor of the great late John Madden, who had a great career as head coach for the Raiders, and then great broadcaster, the Madden football games. They won in his honor. And were able to upset the Indianapolis Colts on the road in Indianapolis when the Colts just had a win and they were in. Derek Carr and the company and the Raiders come back and win that game. Raiders at home, Vegas, it could be rocking. The Raiders will be pumped, try to finish this off. In the end, it'd be a great story, especially because the Raiders have overcome so much with John Gruden's email scandal. He was kicked out. Henry Ruggs thing, it was horrible. So much things. What's going to happen here? I might be drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm going with the Raiders. I'm going to say the Chargers, Justin Herbert and company. You would think it'd be great to see him finally get a chance to play in the playoffs. Great young quarterback. But I'm going to say the Raiders. Derek Carr's been the one consistent piece without all the controversy. I think they rally the troops. They get it done at home in Vegas. Close division rival game. I'm going to go with the Raiders over the Chargers, 34-31. Whoever gets the ball last will win. Raiders will get it last, winning on field goal. And Derek Carr and the Raiders, improbable, will go to the playoffs, win and go home. Win or go home, Raiders will beat the Chargers, knock off Justin Herbert, and the Raiders will get into the playoffs. So those are my Week 18 final NFL regular season picks of the year. Be there, be square, take two, come in the morning. It is not the doom, and things that nature. Hasta la vista, baby. And
C is for cookie, that's good enough for me. C is for cookie, that's good enough for me.
So Cookie Monster, Arnold Schwarzenegger, approve. You agree, disagree? Love to hear your DJ Roscoe Sports Show. Your home for all your favorite sports and entertainment talk. Those are our football picks. Baseball's still in lockout. Well, they could settle before spring training starts in February. It's not looking good. Hopefully they get it done. It's going to be like a the great Manning broadcast, alternate broadcast for Sunday Baseball with Michael Kay and Alex Rodriguez next year on ESPN. And then ESPN Sunday Baseball will be Carl Ravitch, play-by-play, Eduardo Perez as an analyst, and the great David Cohn, still working for the S Network, covering Yankee games with Michael Kay, but working every Sunday baseball game as an analyst. And Michael Kay and Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod, should be interested to see in the A-Rod cast, the K-Rod cast, Michael Kay and A-Rod in the Peyton Manning alternate fashion, interviewing people, more relaxed baseball form. That should be interesting to see what happens. Just get it done so baseball can come back on time. We need it. I'm a diehard baseball fan. Need to see it. But either way, the Rail Riders and AAA baseball shouldn't be affected by it. Their home opener is April 12th, less than 100 days away. Hallelujah, hallelujah. We'll have baseball soon. Minor leagues for the baby Yankees, the Rail Riders and Champion Company. Hopefully for the New York Yankees and all of baseball as well. Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, all the great players, we want to see them. And all the rest of the free agents get signed with the big shopping spree before the lockout. Get baseball back. Hockey, the Pittsburgh Penguins have won 10 straight games. Red hot, kicking butt, playing great. Flyers playing pretty well. Rangers playing doing a heck of a job at hockey. The Winter Classic last week was excellent, but frigid cold, negative 24 degrees it felt like at Tarjay Field in Minnesota at the baseball stadium. Minnesota Wild lost to the St. Louis Blues, but a heck of a showdown. But hockey's been exciting. Baby Pens have been exciting. Their next home game, they're playing with the Friday, the more affordable WIU hockey nights. I think $14 seats in lower bowl. Penguins play Friday, January 14th, this upcoming Friday at home, Mohegan Sun Casey Plaza. And then on my little boy LJ's second birthday on Sunday, January 16th, they play a 3:05 matinee game. So check out the Baby Pens and Tuxcoming. Support the local Baby Pens. Pittsburgh Penguins red hot, winning 10 games in a row. Baseball back before you know it, hopefully. Fingers crossed, end the silly lockout. At least have minor league baseball. Football getting ready for the playoffs. And then basketball, you got Klay Thompson's supposed to come back on Sunday, first time in like 3 years playing. Hopefully, congrats to him, the perseverance to overcome all the injuries and the obstacles. Hopefully him and his fellow Splash brother, Stephen Curry, could light up the score with all the three-pointers, and Golden State Warriors could be a very dangerous team getting a healthy Klay Thompson back. Kyrie Irving's back, at least as a part-time player. For the Brooklyn Nets, along with Kevin Durant and James Harden. So when he's able to play, his first game back, they came back from a pretty big deficit, beat the Indiana Pacers on the road, and Kyrie Irving scored 22 points. Kevin Durant scored 39 points. James Harden's been playing well, and maybe eventually he'll get vaccinated and we'll be able to play home games. But meanwhile, he's going to do a heck of a job and score a ton of points as long as there's not too much controversy and they can overcome it. The big three back, at least on a part-time basis. Kyrie Irving back on a part-time basis for the Nets, even with the vaccine mandate, at least play on the road along with Kevin Durant and James Harden. So Brooklyn Nets could be a team to watch. The Sixers are still a heck of a team. Giannis and the Bucks. The Lakers and LeBron James playing out of his mind, scoring a lot of points. Lakers playing better of late. See if they can get better as they get close to the All-Star break and the NBA trade deadline. So basketball's exciting. Hockey's exciting with the Pens playing great. And then, baseball, football, and then college football. Penn State and Notre Dame unfortunately lost their bowl games on New Year's Day, but we have the national championship game. Michigan lost to Georgia. Alabama crushed Cincinnati. So now it's Alabama, Georgia, the rematch of the SEC championship. SEC, one of them's going to win. They're always the powerhouse in college football, like it or hate it. It's getting a little boring, but hopefully we'll be expanded to a 12-team college football playoff next year. So it'll be more like the March Madness Cinderella in college basketball. And I still, in the end, I can't pick against Nick Saban, Alabama Crimson Tide. I think, you think Georgia will keep it close. Maybe they'll get revenge. I think Kirby Smart in Georgia, they're going to play tough for a while, but I think Alabama, Nick Saban, you can't stop them. Bryce Young, the reigning Heisman Trophy best player in college football, will keep it close for a while, Georgia, but in the end, Alabama will crush Georgia and win in decisive fashion. I'll go with what should I go? I'll go 34-20. They win by 2 touchdowns. Alabama over Georgia win their millionth national championship under the great Nick Saban. But check that out, 8:05, 8:15, ESPN. We get Monday Night Football, college football national championship game, ESPN, and all the other ESPN networks. Alabama over Georgia, 34-20 is my pick for the Monday night's national championship game of college football. That's the sports talk. Cobra Kai season 4. They're ready for season 5. Can't wait till that comes to Netflix. Season 4 just debuted on New Year's Eve. Great show. Terry Silver's back, crazier than ever. John Kreese, evil. Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso, can they coexist with Eagle Fang Karate and Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do? It's great stuff. It's great to see some of the archive, former the clips from the old 80s Karate Kid movies. Great show. Cobra Kai, Netflix. Check that out. Don't Look Up. Crazy, polarizing movie, but fun movie. Jonah Hill, Meryl Streep, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence. Check that out. Tender Bar, George Clooney wrote and directed. Rave reviews from Ben Affleck on Amazon Prime. Came out this past Friday, January 7th. I recommend that. I've heard good things. Licorice Pizza doing well in the movie theaters. Emily in Paris, my wife, is enjoying, came to Netflix. Just a bunch of stuff. HBO Max has a bunch of stuff for you to check out. Spider-Man's still killing at the box office, doing a great job. Amazing movie. My daughter and I loved it. Can't wait to see it again. We'll watch it at home with my little boy, LJ, who, when he's a little bit older, he can see the movie. He's with us in the theaters. Sing 2, which I heard was great. That's available on demand now if you can't go to the movie theaters. Great movie there. Animated, family-friendly fun. And so just a lot of great stuff. The Kurt Warner movie is supposed to be great. The true story about kind of real-life Rocky coming from stock and grocery shelves, being an NFL MVP and Super Bowl champion, and probably inspirational story. So enjoy the movies, enjoy the shows, enjoy Cobra Kai, enjoy Spider-Man, enjoy the football playoffs that are about to start as we wrap up the NFL regular season. Being with you each and every week of this 18 expanded NFL season. Loved every moment of it. We'll be with you each and every week of the playoffs to cover and make our predictions and talk about the playoffs. Wrap up the regular season, talk about the playoffs next week. Keep it on DJ Roscoe Sports Show. Sing a quick song, my amazing wife Abby, Lorelai, LJ, who's about to 2 years old next Sunday, January 16th. I love you guys all in my heart, and I'm going to sing You Make Loving You Easy. It's our wedding song with the great Zach Brown, man. You make loving you all I want to do. Every little smile and every single touch reminds me just how much it all makes loving you easy. I'll sing again. Please don't. My wife says, easy. I love you, Lorelai. Love you, LJ. Love you, Abby. Having a great time in our Baltimore Steelers weekend in Baltimore, Maryland. Hopefully Steelers and Big Ben finish it off on playoffs and a win to finish it off with a great Big Ben's career. I love you guys. Love you guys each and every week for tuning in to DJ Roscoe Sports Show, your home for all your favorite sports and entertainment talk right here on the DJ Roscoe Sports Show. Watching some Impractical Jokers in the hotel room. Still sad that one of the original Impractical Jokers is leaving the group, but that's just, still should be some funny times ahead with them. But yeah, keep it locked. We'll talk about all this great sports and movies and get ready for the NFL playoffs next week on the DJ Roscoe Sports Show. And happy birthday, buddy, my beautiful little boy LJ. He'll be 2 years young next Sunday, so very excited about that. And next Monday, January 17th, will be Betty White's 100th birthday. We'll honor her, and sad she passed away just before that. But love the great Betty White. Thank you for being a friend for all those years. And This Is Us came back for season 6, final season of This Is Us came back on NBC this week, along with New Amsterdam, and the final season of Blackish, hilarious, thought-provoking comedy ABC for their 8th and final season. So great TV, great movies, great shows, great sports. We'll talk about it all. Keep wrap it up for you and talk about it, break it down each and every week. DJ Roscoe Sports Show, your home for all your great sports and entertainment talk right here on DJ Roscoe Sports Show. Have a great weekend, everyone. Take care. Let's stay warm. In these cold, chilly January winter days, we're getting closer to spring before you know it. We're in 2022, the new year. Keep warm. We had fun sleigh riding with the kids with the snow the other day. But enjoy it. Keep locked, DJ Roscoe Sports Show, for all your favorite sports and entertainment talk right here. Have a great weekend, everyone. Take care, and let's get ready for some playoffs. Bye-bye, everyone.